Hey everybody, Dr. Mike Reid from Chiropractic Masters. I want to welcome everyone to this Master Talk. And I'm very fortunate to have Dr. Cherine VanWagner with me live here at our recording. And Cherine is a very special person. You guys know that she's the lady in my life, and I'm very fortunate to have her really talk about the Ironman mindset. Now, to give you a bit of background, she was a 2011 CLA Chiropractor of the Year. She has been awarded numerous awards for corporate wellness. And 2 years ago, Dr. Cherine, you ran the Louisville, Kentucky Ironman, which was a phenomenal feat. So what I wanted to do on this call is, first of all, you can say hi to all of our listeners.
Hello, great to see you guys.
And for those of you joining us live or recorded, Dr. Cherine ran an Ironman. If you want to just describe what an Ironman is for those doctors who don't know, Cherine, exactly what it is.
A very long day. Very long day. Actually, a long year. What it is actually, first you swim over 2 miles, then you bike over 100 miles, and then you run a full marathon, which is 26.2 miles. So it's a really long day, but honestly, it's not even the mileage. It's more of the mindset that's everything with it, which is the reason why I took it on. So, you know, if anyone who knows me, I actually have done a lot of marathons. I don't really like them, but I do them. But this race I loved, and the reason why I loved it is because it tapped into a different part of my mind, and that's what the true beauty of it was.
You know, Cherine, the reason I had asked you to talk about the Ironman mindset is because this is very analogous to doctors in practice. I've been coaching for 17 years, and I find a lot of doctors will give up or quit. I mean, we've all got shit on our plates. I mean, and some people have pools of shit, and you know, it's, and you know, but the Ironman is really about mental and physical fortitude, because there's many times when you're out there running or biking or swallowing water, getting tired and falling asleep on your bike or cramping your feet, that you want to quit. And the universe really, I believe, is testing people to accept more in their lives. So let's just talk about why in God's name would you want to do an Ironman, first of all?
You know, it's funny because it's not that just I wanted to do the Ironman. So I think that just as in life, when you decide that you want to do something incredible or something big, the first thing you have to do is commit.
Yeah.
And, you know, you know this, but no one else knows this. When I signed up for the Ironman, I was actually sitting in my practice. I was in my office, and I was actually on like a resting period. I hadn't done anything in a long time. So all of a sudden I sat at my desk and I called Mike and I said, I'm signing up for an Ironman right now. And he's like, okay, what made you think of that? And I said, because I'm sick of mediocrity. I need to do something to press myself, to really push myself and push my mind into a different zone. And that is actually why I decided to do the Ironman. And not because of, you know, just wanting to do a physical feat. It was actually the mental feat. Really
and that's important, because you said the keyword mediocrity, and a lot of people live that life of mediocrity. It's the status quo. And, you know, a lot of doctors they have this craving to break out of the status quo, to be different, be unique, whether it's a bigger practice or a specialty, or, you know, to have whatever type of practice. And you said, I'm done with mediocrity. And that was
done being comfortable.
And that was in your life and in your practice, because you're in a whole different mental component of your life as well.
Yeah. So, you know, that's where I find that this is very common in our profession, that so many doctors, they get comfortable. And I literally cannot stand that word. The word comfort means complacent. It means non-growing, which if you're not growing, you're always
dying. Right.
It truly means that. So, you know, while this is something about a big physical feat, it was actually a gigantic, I mean, when I say gigantic mental feat, that's actually what it was. And so, and I transferred it all into my life as well. So once you make that decision to do something really big, whether it's you say, that's it, I'm going to see 500 people a week and I'm not going to stop until I get there. Or you say, that's it, I'm going 100% cash when you're all insurance. It doesn't matter what the decision is. It's just making that choice and being solid about it. And I actually, what it took me $850 to sign up for a race. By the way, I didn't have a bike. I didn't
know how to swim.
I knew how to doggy paddle or swim under the water. I did not know how to freestyle. Well, maybe across a pool, half a length or one length maybe. I didn't know how to do any of these things. All I knew is I could run. right? So everyone has a component that they can do in practice or in life. They do it really well, but then there's always weaknesses in the other areas. But the thing is that if you really say, that's it, I'm ready to take on those weaknesses and I'm ready to just hammer them down and do something about it, that's when you really make things happen.
So you couldn't swim, or you could swim, but not like 2.5 miles, right? 2.2 miles.
I couldn't swim a lake.
Yeah. You never biked over, 100 miles like that. It's 112 miles, correct?
I think so.
Right. And then to run a marathon, 26.2 miles. Is that correct? And get the numbers right. But you've never done all those individually, but you're combining all three of these. And I know you weren't training like an Ironman. You'd sort of do what, 3-4 months prior to?
Yeah, but I trained my mind, and that's reason.
What's important.
That was the reason why I did it. That's the reason why I was able to do it, was because I really, really trained my mind. I ate extremely healthy. That was one thing I did. I honed in my nutrition, and I made sure I had a great mental state every single day. That was my main focus, was just to say, that's it. I'm strong mentally. I'm strong physically. And it transpired into my physical ability because I was mentally really solid.
And at the same time, what most doctors don't know is you were also in the transformation of starting new practice and building new practice as well. So,
I started over.
You started over from scratch, right? So understand, Doc, she's taken on this huge feat. She's training. She started a brand new practice. And on top of all of this, we just moved. So we could actually write a book on all of the crap that we've been through. And yet this is so metaphoric of the barriers that we all have in life. We get it. A lot of doctors out there have issues with marriage or finances or practice. I mean, the list goes on health. But you saw the prize. You had your eye on the prize right from the beginning. And you said to me, I will do this. I'm going to do an Ironman. And I'm going, holy shit. And it's interesting is I learned from you. I learned that, sometimes that little voice inside your head, Docs, that says, to give up or you shouldn't do it, or the naysayers in your life, like the family members going, why would you want to do that?
Oh, everyone said it. All my friends, everyone.
All your friends, right? Because they're not going to do it. No, I thought, damn, yeah, raising the bar again. Here we go. And you decided to pull up your socks and just do it. And what's amazing, right? I love about you is that you've never failed at anything you've accomplished. If you said, I'm going to do it, you find a way. And that's inspiring. And that's why I wanted to get in your mindset, because the doctors on this call, listening to this in Evergreen or on the recording, or it might be the replay or live, it's what is it that you have so much certainty and fortitude to say, I want to do that. I will have that. And you always accomplish it.
I think the biggest thing is, number one, knowing that you're going to make mistakes, knowing that you're going to have weaknesses, but unless you really come to terms with those, you're not going to grow. So, if I was to say, oh, I'm a great swimmer, or, oh, my practice is eating 500 when I'm starting over, all of those it's not really the truth, right? No. So it's really saying, okay, where am I? Being realistic of where you are, and then say, where am I going to be? And not saying, oh, what would I like? There's nothing worse than saying, oh, I'd like to have that. No, what will you not accept? I think that's the biggest thing. Like, I was unwilling to accept staying in the same place anymore. And that's why I really was like, that's it, I'm doing this. So, I knew that I had an uphill battle because I didn't have the swimming ability. I literally had to hire someone to teach me how to swim correctly. Yeah. I actually remember making, one of our dearest friends now I met in the pool, because he saw me struggling and he was like, can I help you? And I was like, please, before I drowned, please, just because I tried to do it on my own at first. And what I realized is you don't have to do everything yourself. It's okay to ask for help. And you know what? There's so many great mentors in every area of life, kind of like coaching, right? So having a mentor when you coach, like having someone to coach you in practice, teach you the right things. I had to have someone teach me how to do this. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm extremely competitive and I am very athletic, but I wasn't good in those things. And I had to kind of,
So it's okay to ask for help.
I had to ask for help, even though I didn't start that way until someone saw me practically drowning.
And you had it on, for biking. You were already an accomplished runner, and you teach other people how to run.
Mm-hmm. That was the one thing I had.
And you had a swimmer. So let's go to the event. Let's talk about preparation. We talked about mediocrity. We talked about asking for help. And, I also want to talk about preparation, because you did a lot. You actually found nutrition that was tuned to your physiology, which was really cool. You had everything organized and structured the night before. We had everything laid out. We had your day bag laid out. So we were organized, extremely organized. And what was really cool is that, you basically knew exactly what to do with regards to getting ready and getting organized for that whole day.
I didn't. I just made it happen. See, that's the thing. You don't always have to have the answers. You just have to. I saw it in my mind. I saw like, okay, this is how my race is going to go. And by the way, it didn't go as pretty as I thought it was going to go in many ways. But the thing is I don't think that you ever saw me not smiling.
Right.
It doesn't, when you're achieving or trying to achieve something big, there are going to be so many pitfalls along the way. I mean, so many. But the thing is, you have to look and you say, yeah, I'm still doing it. I'm still on this path. This is happening. I'm getting there. That's all that matters. It's one step closer to that end zone, like to that line, to that finish line. And it doesn't matter actually all the mistakes that you made. So prepping for it, I had already seen it right here. I already knew I was finishing. I'll be honest. I had first to start off with me dreaming about drowning. Then I started saying, no, don't think this way. I need you to think about how are you going to complete this thing? Let the fear go. And then I started dreaming about crossing that finish line. And I'll tell you, I kept saying to Mike every single day, I said, I don't care if I literally have to crawl on my hands and knees or if I have to walk on my hands because both my legs are broken, I will cross the finish line. And that was a certainty I had. So I think that it wasn't even the physical preparation. It was because I had checklists to do that with, right? Which are great to do checklists for yourself. Make a checklist for what is it going to take to achieve that goal? What do you need to do every single day? What do you need to do to prep for it?
I agree.
And then also right here, you have to know it in your head.
So you saw the end in mind. You already accomplished it mentally. But let's go into the physical aspect, because the day of your swim, we had a little hiccup in the bathroom, and then it wasn't your fault, but it was somebody else's.
Oh gosh,
anyway, we won't go into that. Yeah.
It was not me.
And we're gonna skip that anyhow. But you got into the water, and the first thing that you just got in, and then I'll let you tell the story how somebody swam over top of you, and it could have knocked you out of the race right at the beginning.
Well, the first thing I did is I almost panicked. I panicked when I got in the water, because Ironman races, normally what they do is everyone runs into the water and you all start
at the same time.
At the same time.
2,500 people.
Yeah, but then you can kind of choose your space. You can kind of go off to the side. Here, what they did is one person, next person, next person, next person. So, and it didn't matter if you were male or female, if you were a fast swimmer or slow swimmer. So in the normal Ironmans, if you're a slow swimmer, you get in the back. You don't go right to the front, kind of like a race. The fast racers always start first, in a run. So here I am, I'm jumping in, and all of a sudden I kind of freak out because there's all this commotion going on around me, and there's only so much you can do to prep for it. So it's kind of like life, right? You see what's going to happen, and then there's surprises. So then you have to decide, how am I going to get through the surprise? So one of my friends said to me, the one who saw me drowning in the pool, he said, think of it as a vacation swim. Get in your zone and go along your way. Like, all you have to do is stop, pause, then put your head back in the water and start again. He's like, that's all you have to do is just restart. Never give up, just restart. And I think that's what people do. They give up instead of restarting.
So we all have, like I said, we all have those barriers, and it's just about pausing, maybe resetting, and then pushing through. And pushing through, and whether it's your practice or your life, your marriage, whatever it might be. And so that first person came over the top of you.
Then what happened is two men swam over top of me at the same time and literally pushed me underneath the water. And I think I swallowed about a gallon of the water. I came up, I started throwing up in the water. That was how my race began. And to think that I spent the rest of the day smiling, I don't know how. Probably because I was just happy to live. I was really happy. But then what I did is I got this right after that. First I was freaking out, and then I said, wait a minute, this is my race. Nobody else is going to ruin that race for me. I have trained way too much mentally and physically for this. I am in this, and I see that finish line still.
That's right.
So that's where I just said, that's it. No one else is going to take this from me. And you know what? I am going to swim until I get out of this water or I die trying. So that's where it really did happen. And, I was definitely not the fastest out of the water, but I lived.
And you know what? You got through the water, you got on your bike, and it was interesting because you had another hiccup on your bike. Remember you're short of water, and then we sort of had a miscalculation on our day bag.
Yes. So in an Ironman race, they actually do at the halfway point, you have your grab bags where you can actually refuel. Because I was not using any of the fuel that they had on the course. It was processed stuff. I really didn't like it. It didn't sit well in my stomach. It was full of Gatorade and stuff like that. And I refused to put that into my body. I will not put that into my body. So I truly stayed pure to my core values and to my belief systems of nutritionally what I was willing to put into my body. Now, while that was a great thing, it actually did hurt me because I didn't have anything there. And at that race, they didn't put the grab bags at the halfway point. They put it 10 miles after. And so I planned for right at that mileage. And so I ended up running out of water. I ran out of my electrolytes. I ran out of fuel. The only thing that I had in my little fanny pack thing was I had Band-Aids. That doesn't help me any. I had a salt cap, a little salt capsule. I had a couple of those, but I didn't even have a sip of water to drink.
And nobody would share with you. And you had riders going by. Nobody would share with you.
Yeah, I had a gentleman fly by me with 6 bottles of water on his bike, and I asked him if I could just spray a sip into my mouth. He said, no, I need it. Now, here was one thing. Part of me respected him because I was like, okay, he knows what he needs. Right. That's his plan, right? And he's not going to allow anyone else to break his plan. The other me was like, what a jerk. I'm dying here. So literally, I almost passed out on my bike. I almost fell asleep is what happened. I was so woozy. I literally almost fell asleep. And then when I pulled into the station, they actually said, uh-oh, we have a tipper, because I was almost tipping over from just not being with it. I wasn't tired. I physically,
just
I was
electrolytes and energy. Right. So, okay. So another barrier, you break through it, kept your eye on the prize. Mentally, you're thinking, yeah, I could quit, but I'm going to accomplish this. I'm busting through these barriers. You finally get off your bike. And I was at the station. I remember being there, and she's smiling ear to ear.
Hey, I had peanut butter and jelly. I had
That's a favorite of Ironman, right?
Okay, yeah. So I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That was like the worst treat that I had. It was a peanut butter and jelly, and that I was singing to it. That's what gave me my smile. It made me alive again.
But then their last little portion, you had to run. You had to run 26.2 miles, and you had accomplished the swim, and you accomplished the bike, and now you had this 26-mile run. So the transition, getting off the bike, getting into your running gear, what was going through your head at that time?
Finally, my zone, my good zone.
So you have a favorite, and like doctors out there, you might have a favorite. You're like your go-to place, right? That you can always go to that happy place, and it be in your head. It could be physically,
right? Or the thing that comes naturally to you, like in practice, your thing that might be easy to you is talking with patients, or it might be asking for that referral, or it might be adjusting, it might be teaching. Everyone has strengths and everyone has weaknesses, and you can't always do your strengths. That is the biggest weakness that people have, and that's one thing that the Ironman taught me is all I was doing was running, and I was doing interval training and but all I was doing was what I was great at instead of taking on the things I wasn't good at, and that actually is what made me more whole actually inside, in here, and everywhere, is by saying that's it. You know what? I am weak in certain things, and I am willing to change those.
And you're strong in certain things too. So you understood your weaknesses, understood your strengths.
Right.
You really blew through the run. It was not a problem for you. No, we did have some challenges, right?
We did. I actually,
another barrier.
From swallowing all the water, and stuff, I actually got really sick on my run. So I stopped at every single mile to go into the porta potty because I was sick. I was, throwing up and everything else. But once again, you just keep on going. I think we averaged out 45 minutes.
So
I did that. 45 minutes I wasted there. But you know what the thing is? Still smiling.
Your first,
gotta keep on going.
First Ironman.
Keep on going.
Your first you accomplished it in 15 hours, which is phenomenal, and you got across the finish line, which is an accomplishment. And then we sat down. We had a beer afterwards. We celebrated. So this is so analogous to people who have a dream. They have a dream in practice or in life, and we're always going to find barriers. So just to quickly recap, Cherine, it's about mediocrity and not accepting it. It's about asking for help. It's about prepping both mentally and physically for anything you do. It's also about breaking barriers, right? And because you're going to have barriers in all areas of life. But
I think actually the one step you forgot was making a commitment. So, but having some skin in the game. Like me, honestly, I invested $850 before I even, that was just to sign up for the race. Trust me, it's way more after that because, you know, they didn't buy the $2,000 bike and then do all these other things. But here I was. I said, I'm making this commitment. I signed on the dotted line. There was no refunds. In fact, I could have signed up to get a refund if I got injured, and I refused to do that. I did not want any out. I didn't want any chance to quit. So you have to really make that commitment, whether it's writing it down, whether it's telling a mentor, whether it's telling a friend, someone who you do not want to disappoint. Not as in you care about them judging you or anything like that, but that person who you know supports you, will keep you in the game, but then also that you say, okay, I respect you and I want you to keep me honest with this. And, you know, that's something that you have to make that commitment. That's the one thing.
I agree. So, you know, let's just talk, Cherine, like with regards to staying mentally and physically in the game. Like, what do you do now? I know what you do, but just for the listeners, what do you do to stay in the best shape of your life right now?
The best shape of my life, honestly, it is keeping it exciting, keeping it different. It is, I love doing interval training. It is the number one thing to life in my book. You know, you can do endurance sports and all that. I'll be honest, it's not healthy. I mean, here's me telling you this, who's done it. You know, I've done marathons. I'm going to do another one. You know, I've got goals I'm going to hit. So, but the thing is, you have to realize what is the healthiest thing for your body. You can have goals, but then really fill your life mainly with what's healthy. And interval training is the best way to do it. It's where you get the biggest bang for your buck, and it's where it's going to help you to excel in all those other
And
areas.
you're also committed, coming back to commitment, as a coach for Race Team RVA. So you're there Saturday morning, like every morning, and you're running and you're taking other people on 10 and 12-mile runs. So it's like a walk in the park for you.
Well, what was interesting is this. So once again, the coaching came out of me not doing as much anymore. Also, because during the Ironman, I didn't know this, but I actually broke my ankle in 2 different places during the run. And of course, you don't feel it because everything hurts at that point, and you're just so happy to be there that it, I don't know, everything feels awesome hurting. It's kind of a weird thing.
And all the endorphins running.
It really is. Until the next day when you can't walk, you know. But the thing is that coaching got me back into running. And I said, what I need now is I need just to mentor. And that's what I decided to do. So I decided to mentor instead of just doing a goal. It was giving some of that joy, some of that love, some of my expertise back. Because other people gave it to me. I had that person training me with swimming. I had someone training me with biking. And it was my turn to give back to them. And so that's what I'm doing now. So sometimes I run slower than I like to. Sometimes I run faster than I like to. And it's all about running with those people to support their goals while still keeping in, you know, my values in line there.
So let's just break this down for the doctors who are listening. We'll open up for Q&A in a second. But, you know, if I were to ask you 3 steps to make the impossible to possible, those doctors that are saying, I want a busier practice, or I want to get in the best shape of my life, or the doctors that want to have more in life, but they're stuck in a rut, they're stuck. What would you say would be the 3 steps for them to do, Cherine, with regards to getting out of the rut and moving to the next level? What would you break that down and just step 1, step 2, step 3?
Gosh, that's really tough to narrow down to only 3 steps. First one, stop accepting what's not congruent with what you want.
Yeah, congruency.
That is the number one thing. If you want to lose weight, you can't be eating donuts. You know, if you want to be athletic, you can't sit on the couch. It's just stop accepting those things, or allowing yourself or people in your life who you surround yourself with people that you want to be like. So first, stop accepting, you know, the things that are incongruent. Second one, surround yourself with absolutely amazing people.
And people of a higher standard. It's like being a tennis coach, you know, or being a tennis player, getting a tennis coach, somebody of a higher caliber.
If you are the most elite in every, I would say, group that you hang out with, then you're not growing. You know, you want to be learning from other people. I love to hang out with people that can teach me things. Right. And, you know, it doesn't even have to be professionally, like in chiropractic. I have my friends, they intrigue me in different aspects of life. And that right there just gives me a fire. So, first, stay congruent. Second, surround yourself with amazing people. And then third, just commit. That's it.
Yep.
Just commit and be consistent. So first is committing to it, and then it's just consistency. So if I didn't run consistently, or if I didn't ride my bike consistently, or if I didn't, repeatedly try to drown myself consistently, I never would have made it through there.
It's repetitious, like any new skill. And understand that during that path towards that vision, you will trip, you will fall, you will skin your knees, you will hit a wall. But it's all about breaking through those key areas.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It is. So, I want people to understand, doing an Ironman, it sounds like it is this gigantic feat, right? And honestly, when he says or praises me about it, I'm like, really? It's just an Ironman. It's just a race. And I truly feel that way. And the reason why I feel that way is because I'm not the only one who's done it. I'm not the only one who can do it. Any single person on the planet can do it if they choose to try. And let me tell you, when I was doing that race, I saw some of the most inspiring things I've ever seen in my entire life. I rode past a woman who she was on a seated bike, low to the ground, because she was paralyzed, from bottom down. So she was actually pedaling with her arms. She did that for the run, and she also did that for the bike. And let me tell you, Louisville is a lot of hills. Yeah. And I almost cried when I was on my bike and I saw that, because she inspired me so much. I saw people in their 70s doing this. So you know what? Stop making excuses wherever you are for, whatever it is that you want to achieve. It doesn't have to be a race. A race is just a race. But the thing is that it's still deciding to do something in your life, something bigger, something better. And, every single year, you better be doing something damn big and putting something in there, because you know what? You can. And if you ever look at what I wrote on my arm, do you remember? And it said, I put an M dot, which is an Ironman symbol, and it says, because I can.
Because I can.
Because I can. And because everyone always asks me, like, why are you doing that? I'm like, because I can. I have legs. I have arms. I have a heart, that's beating. I can do this. And I have a mindset that I'm not willing to let just go to waste. So don't think of it as, an Ironman. I want everyone do their own Ironman in their life. That's what it's about. It's about creating the unthinkable possible and achievable and then done. That's what it's all about.
Cherine, I'm going to open up the chat box.
Yeah.
So there is a chat box right beside you guys there. If you have a question, just go ahead and type it in. And Cherine, if any of these doctors, want to get hold of you or send you an email, how can they do that?
It is info@hfcwellness.com. So
for Health First
Chiropractic.
So hfcwellness.com, info at, if they have a question for you. So if doctors, if you have a question, if you have to put up your hand, I see a hand going up with Brian. So Brian, I'm just going to unmute you, Brian. So you can actually ask it, Brian, live if you want, or you can type it in. So Brian Prax, do you have a question?
Typed it up and I couldn't figure out how to type it in, but that's okay. It says, thanks guys for this talk. I'm a fledgling triathlete myself. Olympic distance is as far as I've gone, and I'm dealing with an injury. How do you prevent depression with injuries that put your racing and put your training on hold? And that would be a great analogy for practice as well. I've had a couple of not okay months, and how do you deal with those setbacks?
Well, the first thing is keep your head in the game. And how you keep your head in the game is really concentrating on the things that you can do, not the things that you can't do. And that is really tough. I've been through this many times, both in practice and then also with injuries. Some were taking me out for months and months. The Ironman actually took me out for quite a bit. So it's really about saying it's just a phase. What do I need to do to correct it? Keep your eye on the prize and really just keep going. And sometimes it's just testing yourself, saying, how committed are you to this? Challenges, I believe, are given to you for a reason, to find out how committed you actually are to your goal that you've set for yourself. So, even if you can't do those things, physically, find something else you can do. Whether it be like aqua jogging or whatever it may be, even if there's things that you hate. That was what I learned actually when I got injured. This was actually training for a marathon. I actually tore a calf and I couldn't do anything. And I was so aggravated that I did go through almost like a depression. I remember not being able to go to a race, and I was hoping to PR to take me to the top group in the race. And it was very, very upsetting to me. But what I did is I did the things I didn't like to do that made me actually stronger as an athlete. So I actually had to get into the water, and I had to do aqua jogging, which, if I can tell you anything, I hated it. It was boring. It was awful.
You'd rather chew on tinfoil.
Oh my gosh. I'm not kidding you. So it was funny because someone said, I've never seen anyone smiling while looking so angry in my life. That's what someone said to me when I was in the pool. But what I mean by that is, with practice, you have to do the same thing. You have to look at the things that you were not doing, that you actually don't like doing, but are going to make you stronger in the end. So whether that be doing a doctor's report, if you're not doing a doctor's report, or asking for that referral, or really doing the tick, or whatever it may be, we all have them. I'm actually saying some of my weaknesses that I've had. It's saying, okay, I've had a rough month, but that doesn't mean that you're a rough practice. What you want to do is you want to say, okay, you know what? It's just a rough month. It's just a month. That's it. So what are you going to do to change it?
Right.
That's it.
Action steps.
Yeah, action steps, and write those down. What could you do better and different?
All right.
The aqua jog is a perfect example, because I'd rather chew on tin foil as well, or poke myself in the eye with a hot poker. But yeah, oh my God, I hate that so bad. But yeah, that's a perfect analogy, and I think that I tend to get in the, with this trigger point thing that I have, I tend to get in the moment, and I constantly feel like this is going to be forever. And I think that's a good point. It's like, it's just a month. It's just this too shall pass. And I just keep forgetting that, Mother Teresa statement, this too shall pass. But it just feels like it's never going to pass, and I'm going to go to my grave for the next 50 years with this damn trigger point.
Well, here's the thing. You know what? Every single big challenge always has hiccups, always has downfalls. Okay, so that's the same in practice. You are going to have fly balls that come in. They're going to knock you down. You might have, people saying, oh, well, I don't like this, or I don't want to do this if they're employees. I don't feel comfortable with that, or having to switch employees. There's hiccups that happen everywhere, and there's challenges. But the thing is rising above those and saying, this will not steer me in any way from my path, period. That's it. That's what you have to decide.
That's good.
It's not easy.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's take our next question. If any of the doctors out there have a question, you can just raise your hand and I'll unmute you, or you just type in the chat room. All right. So one last time, Cherine, for those doctors that want to get hold of you, they can just email you at
info@hfcwellness.com.
All right. And if there's no more questions, docs, you're also going to be speaking at Prosperity Summit.
Absolutely, this weekend.
And this prosperitysummit.net for those doctors who would like to join us. Tickets are still available. It's a small but powerful group this weekend. And we're actually organizing next year's Prosperity. It's going to be in Washington, D.C., which we're excited about. Same website, guys, prosperitysummit.net. Next week, you'll be able to see our 24 speakers. We're releasing 50 tickets at 50% off as well. So just watch for that. Great seminar to come to learn from the best in profession. So guys, thanks for joining us on this Master Talk with Dr. Cherine on Ironman Mindset. Until our next Master Talk, Power Talk, or CA call, guys, keep practicing with passion. Thanks for joining us.
I'd love to have you subscribe, comment, like, and share this video with your friends. And don't forget to go to www.chiropractic-masters.com for more free practice building tools.